Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Ermenkov. I'm a ruling reality coach. Today, 17th of January, 2023, and I'm continuing my series, Daily Reality with Alex. I have committed myself to daily reality lives and YouTube videos because I would like to show all of the people and the beings that are interested that reality is subject to influence, that we as human beings are able quite well to be established and be as rulers of our own reality. And since a lot of the things I'm doing for me naturally and subconsciously, I would like to introduce you to a lot of the concepts that I'm using daily in my personal reality. And yesterday I was speaking about reality momentums, and today I would like to speak about reality starts. It is a very important subject. We've heard about startups in companies. When companies, and there are people that are very skillful in startups, they're joining forces with the so-called angel investors, they're starting up new businesses, and then later they're developing to a stage, and then they are selling them. Have you ever wondered why reality is created in such a way that reality is always expecting from us to create starts? When I was reflecting upon manifestation and why everything is starting with the mind, nothing in reality was able to come into the physical matter reality without first being conceived into the mind, because as we know, when in the sayings it was said that God said, let there be light, or God said, nobody can say something without first being into his mind, without first having plans, and so on and so on. That's why our internal being, consciousness, condition, positioning is very important before even we create the stars. But let's start today's expression of my own personal reality with stars. When was the last time any one of us have started something new? Of course, a lot of us that are very in eldership and in experience and are on a much higher age, we are just not willing to start anything new because all of us know how hard it is something to come from start to finish. But let's think about how reality was created. There was a beginning. There is going to be an end. Yes, we are in the middle of something that has been started. It is not yet perfectly come to its conclusion. But can you imagine if the one who was able to start didn't start? In our own personal experiences, there are so many probabilities of us making the push button, making the start, pulling the trigger. There are different expressions about the same thing. Once something comes into your being, once you grasp it and you feel that it is authentic, something that me or you are willing to see as expression in reality, in order not to use only generic names as manifestation or creation or whatever, then we are to come to the start. The starting point is the most important part of the journey. No, but Alex, we want just to experience the journey. The journey is the most important thing, but we are also to understand the start. Why so many of us are not willing to start something new? Why a lot of us are just missing because we are stuck at the start. And just today, by chance, I just saw in my own personal reality how I missed a big opportunity, which is for more than €500,000 per year. And it was just because more than 1 year ago, we were not willing to pull the trigger and to start. The possibility appeared more than a year ago. We were thinking, we were not sure, maybe we are miscalculating, and so on and so on. So this opportunity came maybe approximately 5 to 7 times to our experience and in our reality, but we didn't start it. Today, we found out that there was another company that was preparing itself and was not afraid to start before everyone else, and now is reaping the fruits of this. That's why when in your awareness comes something that you eagerly want to start, this is how I'm training myself into going very strongly and fastly into doing this. If I feel it inside my inner urges and my intuition is giving me a go. And that's why if from today's expressions of myself, you understand only one thing and only one wording, a lot of the people with which we are in common communities, they know this wording. It is called trust, you know, and go. Once this urge is inside of you, you are just to start. Every manifestation happens with a start. Every creation happens with the start. What was in the beginning of the start of the creation? Do you know what was happening in the intelligent, infinite intelligent mind when the start button was pressed? In this very moment, all creation, all the possibilities, all the probabilities were there before. And in order to start something, always you envision also the different possibility of failures. But if you don't start, the manifestation is also not going to happen. So a lot of us are just not starting, and in this way we are not trying, and in this way we are not failures. So the 100% successful people in reality are the ones who don't start because they never fail. But we know that the experience of reality is going in a totally different directions. And I'm so glad that I'm learning more and more of the skill of starting, because then I see a lot of other competitions and a lot of other beings around me in my back mirror, way behind me. They are still thinking, shall I start? While I am in the middle of my own journey, and we are thinking about the same thing, but I'm implementing, and they haven't yet decided, shall they start? Of course, then there is a very big and wonderful thing that a lot of people and a lot of mindful or mindset coaches or trainers are not going to explain it to you, or they personally don't know it. But when we want to learn something, we are to learn it from the successful implementers. And do you know, and do I know which are the most successful implementers in reality? They are not the human beings. The most successful implementers in realities are the so-called transnational companies, are the so-called organizations for which are working 80,000, 1,000, 100 people or more, not one mind, but community of organizations that are working together and seeing all the probabilities and are preparing for each start. And when you start something, you don't start it with the intention to create it perfectly from the first time. You are preparing trials. You have trials batches. You have a lot of tests. You create a small test models of what you are expecting long-term to be developed. And if these organizations are able to implement only in this way in reality what is their intent and trust as transnational companies, it is the same with the human beings. When we have an urge, it's not necessary to prepare 10 years in order to create the perfect outcome and just everything to stay in our heads. No, immediately, as fast as we release what is in our inner being as an urge by speaking it, by sharing it, even before everything is quite conceived in our mind, or we share it, or we write it down, or we start complementing upon this, but we need to put it out into the physical matter reality. This is the first big step that all of us are in necessity to do in order to express ourselves in reality. Of course, then we need a lot of confidence to do it. We need to have been done it many times ago and before, and that's why the implementation process is happening like a painting. Have you seen a painter who is starting the painting with the exact, perfect, final detail from the beginning? No, every painter starts with the fonts, starts with the general, starts with the mood, starts with how he's going to divide the blank canvas, starts with the approximate tones, starts with preparation of the different paintings. And it is the same in our reality. Yes, Alex, I have seen something in the future. I like it. I'm going towards, but I don't know what is my next steps. I don't know my next 3 steps. I don't know anything, but I will trust, I know, and go, and immediately go into the implementation process. In the first step of reality, even before trying, the first thing is to get it out of your inner imaginary world into 100% new reality, where everything is in a cooking stage, where everything is imperfect, where everything is in process. Only once we are able to express ourselves in the outer reality, then everything starts to move for us. This is the first and the most important thing, especially for me, to learn how to see, to learn how to notice my urges. And I know I have these questions, and I know that a lot of you have these questions, Alex, but what is going to happen if what I have decided to do is actually not my authentic urge, but I'm doing it just because some feed was inside of me or some other person was influencing me, and I am just repeating what somebody else told me, and I am just doing it unauthentically, and long term I will not be able to sustain it. That's why we are doing the test trials. That's why we are doing it in small batches. You start the implementation processes and you start imagining and creating something small. How does it feel? In my example, when I am putting a very strong long-term manifestation about a billionaire, then I am to start putting into reality small things that are going to express a future billionaire. Am I successful always? No. But am I putting testing batches? Yes. What is one of the things that I'm working strongly upon is observation. It's not possible to be great. It's not possible to understand how to perform on higher levels and to work with a big responsibility if you are not able to constantly monitor, observe, and to be very well trained all the data and analysis to be able to go into the knowledge pyramid from down to the up, from the detailed and the specific to the general, all the time to be moving back and forward into this knowledge pyramid. When you hear the specific, you immediately need to know the connection with the general. That's why I'm entering strongly into research. That's why I'm entering strongly into fundamentals. That's why I'm so interested into understanding the fundamentals of everything, the fundamentals of reality. And that's why, for me personally, it is not important just to have skills, just to have specific things that we are capable of, because once we understand our positioning in reality, once we go to the basics, once we understand the ruling reality basics, then everything is possible in very different spheres and specific expressions for all of us. This is why I'm strongly willing to express with all of us the first part of reality, and this is the starting process. Whenever we are delaying whatever it is, and what I mean by the starting process, it is when we are creating authentic, new starts. I'm not speaking about reaction processes, because a lot of us say, yes, Alex, but we need to be patient. We need to think twice. We need to think 3 times. We need to think maybe more than 1 year before we make an action. It is so, but if it is connected with reactions, when it's something authentic that you are just starting, of course, the beginnings are not going to be perfect. You are just starting with the test batches. For example, now in my digital marketing, I'm starting with a lot of tests in different areas in order just to learn how to express in reality, how to understand the effectiveness of every possible and probable steps. So I'm starting new things all the time in different areas of reality, but what I'm doing, I'm understanding when is the test and the trial processes. Then when I gain some confidence that in a small scale something is working, only then you are going in a bigger scale. Only then you are going in a bigger scale and your imagination is broadening. For example, I'm working in the moment with 30 people in my personal company. I have envisionment for 80 people. And when I'm looking now in this 30, I'm saying, well, I'm managing now in the physical materiality a very small number, but how I'm managing 80 people now, and I'm implementing it on the 30, and I'm starting to go into the future. This is another mindfulness principle, and I'm calling it dream storming. You go with your mind into the future, you imagine the situation there, you see the feelings, you start seeing the processes, and then you go back into the specific nowadays reality, and you're starting to implement it day by day. So implementation is the only gain in time. All the successful ones in reality are the ones that are implementing. That's why I'm very strongly encouraging all of us to go into interaction with reality and to start trying. I know that all of us have the books, all of us have the information, but only those that are starting are the ones that are learning the next steps. I don't say that all of us are able to go from start to finish in everything that we are doing immediately and in a constantly progressive way. No, as I explained yesterday, because of the momentum principles, we are going to start, then we are going to see the difficulties, we are going to come to our natural boundaries in the moment, but then by trying, then by creating momentums, later shifts are created for all of us. And this is why, for me, the starting process is very important. I don't encourage and I don't state enthusiastic. Enthusiasm can very often be a cover-up for being afraid or not being confident. What I'm saying is realistic approach with tests and trials, with small scaling and little by little understanding more and more about our big visions. Everything in manifestation starts like the painting. First, you need to make the canvas with all the fonts. Then you start very, very, very fading sketches. Little by little, details are starting to appearing. And the final manifestation of the beautiful picture that all of us imagine that it is going to be part of our future reality is happening in the after middle part of the manifestation process, and it's happening towards the end. And I will give you just a small example as how the creation of reality is being created. First, nobody can answer us why everything was not created at once. Why, according to the Bible, it took 7 days? Why, according to other Asian books, it still took time? Why it was done in phases, and we want in our own personal manifestation everything to happen just like this. We want the magic of the fairy tales, everything to happen just with a snap. But reality is working in totally paradoxically opposite way. Little by little, the appearances are appearing, and all the time, the generator of the manifestation can give up and nothing to be happening as an end result. And yes, I enjoy the process, and I'm always sharing with everyone that whenever I start something, first I imagine the worst case scenario of 100% failure, because then even 1% of progress is giving me confidence, the so-called principle that I learned from Dan Sullivan and from strategic coaching, the gap and the gain principle. Once you start a manifestation, you have 100% gap. Then every small progress is the gain. The gain is giving you confidence, and it is like the compound interest. Upon this confidence, you step and you broaden a little bit. Upon the next progress, you step and you broaden a little bit. And little by little, actually the small, insignificant successes are creating the big changes in reality. So this is what I was willing to encourage you today, of course, because I missed something in my own personal reality, because I was not very fast to act during the last year into these specific things. Of course, a lot of other interesting and beautiful things are happening, but whenever I was acting upon intuition and upon the urges that are coming out of my authentic self, always reality was able then to support us with a beautiful appearance of the manifestation of what we wanted. And that's why I'm strongly enjoying being a pioneer, entering into things that were never there, being a participant into ways and approaches and trends that were never before in appearance. I don't want to copy. I don't want to try and to see how everyone else is doing. The important thing for all of us is to look only what is inside of us, what is authentic, and to do everything possible to start expressing it. Then comes the wording. oh, I'm just wishing, oh, I'm just interested, I'm just trying to ask all of you, what do you think about this? Is it something interesting? I'm going just to share something with you. It's a very crazy idea. It happened to me maybe 10 years ago. And then I decided to make a multinational graveyard, like a digital page like Facebook, but to be something where everyone is able to put whatever content he wants for his future generations to look at it. And in the future, in this way, all of us are becoming, in a sense, able to give all our imprint for the future generations to look, to watch, to see what was in our mind, and so on and so on. And I was willing to create a special database and a special page like this, and I was willing to call it a graveyard, and it was still something in my head. I don't know how to do it. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I don't know if even sometimes this is going to appear, but I'm very interested into this. And long term, there is no other possibilities, but everything that we are doing, being and are, to be recorded, and all the future generations are going to understand why and how we were working and interacting with reality. So this is all that I was willing to express today. Trust, you know, and go. Always start new things. Enjoy being vulnerable. Enjoy being 100% failure in the start, but also then you are going to enjoy the processes of reaping the long-term effects of not wanting to be 100% success, which means never to start things which we are not 100% capable to do in the moment. That's why I'm never willing to hide behind my successes, as many as they are or as little as they are, depending to whom I'm comparing myself. But all the time, everything that I would like to express is how much new things I have started, how much I'm struggling, how much I'm suffering, how little I'm improving, and yet how much I enjoy that I am into something new and wonderful that is able to manifest and create benefit for all of us. So thank you for watching today. Enjoy your reality. Everything starts with a start. Push the button, pull the trigger, trust, you know, and go, and enjoy all the interactions with reality. Bye-bye.